Hi there, Andy Ron here with Montana Land Source, and this is the video summary of the Montana Land Report for June 1st, 2022. It's a beautiful spring day here in Billings, Montana, and we had some nice moisture over the past week or so, as much of Montana did, although not all of the state. And as everyone I'm sure knows, the West in general is quite dry, quite droughty this year, so any moisture is welcome. It's great to see some moisture and hopefully lifting us out of some of these drought conditions that we're under and filling up our reservoirs and rivers. Pretty busy week in the land market, 31 total property updates over the past week, which was healthy. 4 properties back on the market, 9 new listings, which is a healthy amount of new listings, 4 pending sales, 5 price changes, and those are all price decreases, and 9 sales, which is also fairly healthy. Kind of a balance as far as new properties coming on the market and properties leaving the market. We're still continuing to see this dynamic with constrained supply and pent up demand. So not as much volume as we've seen in years past. Prices high and at least holding stable, if not increasing, but just not as many transactions as there's just so little inventory out there. And we'll see how this plays out. There's talk and questioning about whether maybe we have seen the peak or maybe we're starting to see a turnaround. Interest rates play into that somewhat, even though financing and interest rates don't play into the Montana land market a whole lot. We see an awful lot of cash buyers in our market. Nonetheless, rates do influence the market in other ways. Sometimes it's people getting financing on property they just bought, or there is property that does get purchased with financing. So rates do have an influence. There's lots of talk and speculation about where that'll go. Of course, that's huge in the residential market, of course. And it's interesting how often the different segments of the real estate market tend to parallel each other. It's very, very rare that we see divergence from, say, residential and the land market. They always do seem to track to some extent, at least. So it's worth watching things like interest rates and the residential market. But for the time being, we're just continuing to see this relatively low volume environment, just not enough properties on the market for there to be the volume that you would expect with how much demand is out there. So we will continue to watch. In news and updates, we're having our Montana Farm and Ranch Brokers monthly meeting tomorrow at 8:30 at Billings, Montana. You can access that via Zoom as well. And we're having Max Hansen speak to us. He's coming all the way from Dillon, Montana to see us here in Billings. Max has been the regional expert on 1031 exchanges for decades, just a wealth of information and knowledge, and he's always very up to date. It's kind of a dynamic, moving situation with 1031, so he's always up to date on that. And 1031s play a major role in the Montana land market. Lots of properties exchange or lots of properties trade with 1031 being utilized to defer capital gain tax. So it'll be interesting and worthwhile to see that. Like I said, that's available on Zoom. And also the Billings Chamber of Ag is having their ag tour next week, a week from Friday, and I'm looking forward to doing that as well. But check the Montana Land Source events page for all upcoming information on news and events. And if you have news and events that you'd like to share, I'm happy to put it on a Montana Land Source if it's relevant to the Montana land market. That's the report for this week. Thanks, everybody. Oh, one last thing I wanted to say. We also have new Ranch Investor podcast episodes out. I believe we've released 3 episodes. We just did a new recording this morning that'll be out in a couple weeks. So looking forward in season 3 to putting out some great content out there. If you're interested in land investment in the Montana or Western land market at all, check out the Ranch Investor podcast. You can find it anywhere where you download podcasts, and you can also find it at mtlandsource.com. Really proud of the content, really proud of the experts we get on. It's a lot of fun, easy conversational format, and just a great way to get some more information on the land market. Thanks, everybody. Find us again at www.mtlandsource.com, as well as Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Thanks, and have a great week.